Hi guys, a very good evening to all of you. I hope I am audible. Can I have a quick response from all of you? Am I audible? Can I quickly hear some responses? Okay, let me see some responses that I'm getting. Hi Naman, Sanskar, Naman Singh, Truthful, Video Zippy, Sanskar Bageshwar. Okay, so guys, I think I'm Khali paper diya. Yes, I'm audible. Slot 2 VA LR they're easy but quants ne marli. Okay, this is slot 3 today. So guys, I have taken the slot 3 just now meaning a couple of hours back. It was a long drive for me. I almost traveled about 160-170 kilometers up and down. But here I am in front of you giving you the analysis of Snap 3 that happened today from 2 to 3 p.m. Now this is the third exam. The first two were already done, and I hope you all know Snap does not have a normalization process. So it means they try to make the test papers overall as close in terms of difficulty level as possible to each other. So you will not see too much of variation between slot 1, slot 2 and slot 3. However, there is some variation which can be expected. For example, slot 1 was said to be a particular level. Slot 2 turned out to be a little bit easier than that, little bit. Slot 3 I would say is almost same as slot 2, or I can say a little bit more easier than that. Okay, but that's my analysis. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happened section wise, what happened as far as the questions are concerned. I have a ton of questions for you, so we'll go ahead and solve all of these. Are you all with me? Can I have a quick round of responses from all of you? Yeah, this is analysis for the 2 p.m. slot. Abhishek, yes. I will share the answers with you very quickly. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so there is no difference in the pattern. The pattern was more or less the same. We have general English, same 15 questions. Analytical and logical reasoning was 25 questions. Quant, DIDS was again 20 questions. This pattern did not change. It is the same. Slot 1, slot 2, slot 3 today. Nothing has changed. Okay. Let's move on. Those of you who are saying slot 3 was difficult, I'll tell you why you found it difficult and how these questions could have been solved very easily. Friends, you're forgetting the fact that the options were created in such a way that you can very easily solve the question just by looking at the options. I don't know how many of you have noticed this. There were in quant, there were at least 3 to 4 questions which if you try to solve like a theta, like in cat, without the options, it will take you an enormous amount of time. But if you look at the options, you'll get the answer in seconds. That is the reason why I said it looks difficult. It is not difficult. And we have been doing this analysis for the last so many years. Every year students say it is difficult. But trust me when I say this, usually the cutoffs that we give are turning out to be 99% correct. Which means when we say a cutoff is x, what we actually found turns out to be x plus 1 or x minus 1. We are very well within the range because we know what is easy, what is difficult. It is not just a function of the question, it is a function of the question plus the answer. Many of the students don't look at the options, they only look at the difficulty in the question. But if you look at the options, you'll start realizing that many of the questions, irrespective of the difficulty level, can be solved. Anyway, let's move on. So here, basically in the slot 3, that's over here. So what I gauge the slot as is there is nothing called easy which came in slot 1. I would rate English as easy to moderate, so that way English is slightly higher than slot 1. I would say analytical reasoning as easy to moderate as the slot 1. It didn't change much. In fact, I would say this is slightly doable compared to test 2, slightly. Whereas I would definitely say the quant section turned out to be similar to your slot 1. Slot 2, that is the second test, was slightly easier. Test 3 was slightly difficult. However, because this is 25 marks, I would end up saying that the paper, because this is 25 marks, I would end up saying that, okay, somebody is connected. I don't know why. Yeah. Yes. So, guys, there is something happening. Just a moment. My tech team is helping me out. All right. Thanks. So yes, so because this is 25 marks and this is about 20 marks, and of course this is about 15 marks, I would say this is similar in terms of the final score that you can expect. Because basically what has happened is one section turning out to be easy, one section turning out to be slightly more difficult than the previous one. So more or less the paper is getting balanced out. So that is the reason why I am saying that if you look at like-to-like comparison, it is more or less at the same level. However, the only reason why I will say this paper can have a little bit of an advantage is because this is the third test. By now, students would have written 1 or 2 already. So again, when you're looking at the difficulty level, you also have to take into account, is this the first time the students are writing in this year, or is it the second time or the third time? This is the third test. So a student who's writing the third time or the second time is better prepared. So if the same type of paper comes again, he will score better. In that respect, again, I'm saying that the requirement of the score in this particular test will go slightly higher. Anyway, let's not worry about that. Right, so where are we? Yes. So we had proverbs in English, we had active and passive voice, we had word usage. There are 3 fill in the blanks. We have to fill in the correct. There were options with different words. We have to use which word comes into the correct fill in the blank. Then we have parts of speech. Lot of questions from parts of speech. Spelling correction. There's one spelling correction. I think the correct answer was diabolical. It was given as the correct spelling is DIABOLICAL. I think this is the correct answer. But the question that was given had DAI. So this is wrong. So your answer is this diabolical spelled incorrectly. Okay. Yes, Brinda, the cutoff will be same for all the slots. There is no normalization at all. So the cutoff will be same for all the slots. So that's the reason I am saying this paper should be considered as slightly easier compared to the other 2 papers, even though in terms of comparison of the questions, they are all the same. But because this is the third, I would go ahead and say that a student who should have got, let's say, 40 marks in slot 2 should have been attempting 41 in slot 3. That's basically what I'm saying. That's all. Okay. But anyway, let's not worry about that 1 mark right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the questions. Okay. And of course, there were 2 questions on synonyms. The breakup of analytical versus verbal reasoning, that is section 2. This time there were a lot of analytical reasoning questions. Only 4 questions were verbal reasoning questions, whereas in the first 2 sets you had a decent number of questions from the verbal reasoning, whereas in this most of them were from analytical reasoning, very few were from the verbal reasoning. So anyone who is not so great about analytical reasoning would have found this to be a little bit problematic, but otherwise the paper difficulty was not something to be worried about. You could have answered the questions, 25 questions, in probably about 30 minutes. I would have said English, the good number of minutes to be attempted would have been 7 to 8 minutes. In the second section, which is analytical reasoning, a good number of attempts, a good number of minutes would have been about 30 minutes, and the remaining 25-22 minutes, whatever is left, would be in your quant section. 20-22 minutes, whatever is left out, would have been in your quant section. This would have been an ideal breakup in this particular case, simply because you had more score available in your analytical reasoning. Not just the score available, the questions were attemptable in your analytical reasoning section. Okay. Okay. Now this is the breakup of your analytical verbal reasoning and basically your the second section. So you had number series, basically 2 questions. Clocks and calendars, there were totally 3 questions. Syllogisms 2, decision making 1. Actually the decision making, there are 2 questions. I will get to the questions also. Then we had analogies 3. Okay, so these are the 2 decision making questions. Then there were blood relations 2 questions. Letter series, the critical reasoning. So all of these come under critical reasoning. Sorry, not this. All of these come under critical reasoning. This letter series is not CR, by the way. This is one question from series. Then we have statement strengthening. We had the statement assumption, and there's one more critical reasoning. I'm just trying to see where that was. We had one in the arrangements. We had statement assumption 1. We had statement strengthening 1. And there was supposed to be one more. Yes, cause and effect. So here, so 1, 2, 3 and 4. So 4 questions came from critical reasoning. Binary logic was 1, series was 1, odd one out was 1. This was again not very difficult. Coding, decoding was actually a bit difficult to understand. Then there was a P&C question. For some reason they ended up asking a math question in your analytical reasoning section. But well, that's what happened. Okay. The breakup of quant was somewhat like this. We had a decent spread compared to the first 2 tests. If you notice, the first 2 tests were skewed in arithmetic and algebra, whereas in the third test they had a very nice spread across the 5 areas. So you had numbers from questions from numbers, questions from geometry, questions from modern math. There were 2 DI questions also. They have reduced the number of questions from arithmetic and algebra. So good news for some, bad news for some, depending upon whether that strength of arithmetic and algebra is yours or not. Okay, but yes, I would say test 3 was a more balanced paper in terms of the number of questions coming from all the areas. Okay. Okay, I have a breakup of the type of questions from quant, but then let's quickly move on to the questions. I'm sure you guys are all waiting for the answers, the questions to be discussed. So let's go ahead and solve a few questions that I remember. I have noted them down. Yes, there were 2 law questions, Naman. Probability answer, we'll do that. So guys, before I move on to the questions, quickly I want you all to give me a like on this video. If you have not already subscribed to our video, please subscribe to our video to our channel, so that any of the future classes that we are coming up with for ZAT, especially for ZAT and the decision making, you can get the notifications. So I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Please go ahead, click a like on this particular video so that I can go on and start solving of the questions. Quickly, guys. Okay, fine. So the questions coming to you now. This is the first question in analytical reasoning in my paper. Again, it changes from paper to paper. How many of you remember the answer to this question? Anyone? Guys, quickly, what is the answer to this? So this is 91, which is repeating again and again. So you can basically ignore the 91. So basically what you need to worry about is this. Okay. So 74, 63, 52, it's a decreasing series. So the decrease here is 11, 11. So the next decrease should also be 11. So 52 minus 11 is 41. So the answer is going to be 41. Clear? Simple. Now we have the second question, which came from your calendar. The question was about, today is a Monday. Somebody's birthday is 193 days after today, or 193 days after. What day will the birthday be? So effectively you're going to divide this 193 by 7 and see the remainder. Right? So 193 by 7 gives you, I think, a remainder of 4. So Monday you add 4 days will be a Friday, and that is your answer. Simple. Then we have this series over here, a series of prime numbers. I think the answer was 43 for this, if I remember it correctly. Basically the logic here is all of these are prime numbers, and you're looking at a difference of 6, difference of 8, the next prime number will be 41 and 43. So 41 I don't think was there in the options. 43 was the only number which was there in the options. So you ended up with 43. Okay. 45 wasn't there. Allegra, 45 wasn't there. It is supposed to be a prime number anyway. All these numbers are prime numbers. Right. The next one was a decision making question. Prime Minister. Yeah, prime number only. The next was a decision making question. It was on a complaint that 3 students who gets low score in one of the exams, they go to the principal and complain about a teacher. And what should the teacher do? That's what the question was. How many of you remember what the answer? 47 was not in the option. 47 was there in the question itself. Guys, how many of you remember the answer to this question? The decision making question about the students going and complaining about the teacher to the principal? All of the above? No, I would not suggest all of the above. Guys, remember, as a principal, my teachers should be well respected. Just because 3 students come to me and they complain to me that they cannot follow a teacher, I should not call the teacher and ask, hey, why are you not explaining properly in the class? I should first go ahead and do an analysis by myself to find out whether what they're saying is true or false. So there is one option which kind of gives me an answer to what I was trying to seek. Do you guys remember that answer, that option? There is one option which basically said, look at these 3 students' marks by the same teacher. Look at these 3 students' marks by the same teacher in the previous subjects. So what will that tell me? It tells me whether these guys, so, and it's not just look at, it's saying look at and compare it with the other marks of other scores that these guys have got. So if they are getting low score only in these teachers and they are getting good score in the other subjects, then probably it is a problem with the teacher. Right? So they are not able to understand what the teacher is saying. It could be a possibility. However, if they have got good marks by this teacher, but this time they got low marks, it is not because of the teaching then. It is basically because they did not pay attention. So that was the option that you should have gone for. Okay? It is not all. Many of you think it is all. It is not all. Trust me, because if I am in the position of a faculty, if my principal calls and says, look, there is a complaint from 3 students that they are not, that you are not teaching properly, and from 3 students where I am already rated very high, I am going to be really unhappy, because it means you are looking at 3 students complaint and not even doing a fact check. You should do some analysis of your own, then only you should call me and investigate. Right? So it's like saying that anybody who complains against me, you're going to call me into the office and say, hey, why are you not doing it correctly? There's no second side to the story. First, analyze yourself. If the principal does some basic analysis and thinks that it requires that I call the teacher and speak, then only the principal should call the teacher and speak. But initial analysis should be done by the principal himself or herself. So the answer should not be all 3. It should be that I should compare the scores of these 3 students taught by this teacher in the previous subjects with their other subjects. There is one option which had this as an option. That should be the right way forward. Okay? Let's move on. Okay, then there's one letter series question. Here it was A, B, C, and this was D actually. A, B, C, D. Then I, so this was J, I, J, K, L. So then E, F, I, J, K, L. So G and then H. So there should be an option starting with F and H. There's only one option starting with F and H. That itself was your answer. Again, a very, very simple question. You don't have to look at all the 4 letters. You just have to understand what are the first 2 letters, F and H. There was only one option starting with F and H, and that's your answer. Okay. Then there is an answer on cause and effect. There's a question which talks about cause and effect. There's a professor cadre vacancy in a particular college. So there's a question related to that. Okay. So this basically, the answer to this is they are both independent causes. They are not related at all. Neither one is a reason for the second, neither two is a reason for the second. They are not related at all. They are two independent ones. So both statements 1 and 2 are independent. So that's the answer that you're supposed to have given. Okay, independent causes. Very good. Okay, next. Which of the following is not supported by above para? Always ill-treated everyone from the support department. Yes, this is the answer for that. So there's one question which talks about a customer care service center stopped working, in terms of they are kind of protesting because they have stopped answering mails, stopped answering calls, they have stopped taking calls because they had a complaint against the way in which they have been treated. So to that question, the answer is, there is an option which says always ill-treated everyone from the support department. So the entire support department was always ill-treated. That is the correct answer for this question. Okay. Then there is a question on arrangements. My 5 friends are standing in a row with their backs to me, and then there was an arrangement given. That question they were asking about who is standing in the middle. The middle was the person whose name was Ramachandra or something like that. So that was the answer for the arrangement question. Okay, Ramakant. Yeah, I think Ramakant, not Ramachandra. Ramakant was the answer. So the arrangement middle one was Ramakant. Okay. The next question is analogy. Rabi, barley, mustard, wheat versus kharif. It's not kharif, Kharif. Kharif, groundnut, soybean, and I think it is millet. I'll need to check that yet. Again, I'm not saying, see, till now I was very sure about the answers. This I'll have to check back. I think the answer was millet. I'm not sure. Okay. If anybody has a correct answer or a better reason for it, please let me know. I thought the answer was millet. I'm not sure. I'll have to check and get back. Is it line C? I don't know. Karma, we'll come to that question, my friend. We are going in a particular order. Anyway, that question is here on the slides. Please hold on. You'll get that answer. Okay. Then we have the next question was about clocks. So there's a question which talked about the angle moved by the hour's hand from something like 7 to 12 is A, and then from 2 to 3 or something like that is B, 2 to 4 is B, something like that, right? What is the value of A plus B? That answer was 210. Basically, in 5 hours it moves 150 degrees, and in another 2 hours it moves 60 degrees. So 150 plus 60 is 210. Again, very, very simple. Few seconds you'll get your answer. Okay. Okay. Next, there was a question on course of action medicine. If you remember, there's a question which speaks about an IT guy, IT professional, who has back pain, and he takes a medication usually, and now the medication is past its expiry date. So normally when the medication passes the expiry date, you are not supposed to take it, because once the medication expires, it can be harmful to you. Now the question is, he is feeling very he's under a lot of pain, and he feels that if he takes the tablet, the pain will subside. It's just a feeling. Should he take the tablet or not? And the answer to this is, he should not consume. Simple. Because to relieve your pain, you are taking a tablet which is past its expiry date. For all you know, your pain will not subside, and on top of it, you might get some other complication on top of it. Because remember, he does not have anything else. He does not have any other problem, medical problem. He has only back pain. So if there is no tablet, the best thing for him to do is get up and take a rest, take a day's rest. It is not, he is not supposed to take an expired tablet, because that could lead to further complications. So the answer straightforward is, do not consume. Okay. Next question was cause and effect. Air and water polluted, both are effects of the common cause. So there's a question which talks about the air is polluted by the industry, the water is polluted by the industry. The answer to that question is both are effects of common cause. Okay. Then we have the question on statement assumption, bridge collapse. So the question basically said that a freshly inaugurated bridge fell down the next day itself. So there only two is implicit. Only two, meaning the statement which said the construction material is of low quality or the design itself is bad. That is what is implicit. Because it is mentioned that the bridge has fallen. It is not because of an earthquake or because of a natural disaster. It was there and it fell. The only reason for that could be bad quality construction or bad designing. Okay. Now there was one more option which said that the local, some official is correct. Now we cannot say that the official is correct. Now whether, first of all, whether that official is related to this bridge at all or not, who knows. It is nowhere mentioned that this person was related to the bridge or is in charge for the bridge. So if you don't know whether he is in charge for the bridge or not, how can I say that this particular official is correct? So we cannot say that is an assumption. However, we can definitely say that a bridge which was newly constructed fell down of its own accord. It means the construction design or the quality was not good. Okay. Next, there was a binary logic question. It was about, there were 3 students who are attempting a question paper and they made these 3 statements. I believe the answer to that is cannot be determined, because if you go by each student, you will be getting different answers. So the answer to that particular question is it cannot be determined who is the liar, because there are 2 scenarios you will get. There will be 2 scenarios in which you will be having contradicting statements and both of them are possible. So in one statement you will get one answer, in the second statement again everything is valid, you will get a different answer, which means you cannot say who is the liar and who is the truth teller. Therefore the answer is cannot be determined. Okay. Okay, next, moving on, we had a question from PNC. There were 5 women and 5 gents. They are supposed to be seated together, but all these women should always be sticking together. So totally 10 people, out of which 5 women should always be together. How many ways can you do that? The answer to this is 5040. Okay. Yes, trench is groove or groove is trench. That's the correct answer in English. Arnav, unfortunately, I don't have the English questions with me right now. So if you guys can come up with few questions, probably we can put that up in the chat. You can ask the questions in the chat. We will respond to you in the chat itself. But I don't have the English questions right now because they are very lengthy for me to write down. Then there's a very long question. I don't remember the answer to this because it was very long for me to even note it down. But yes, this was one question. It was a series. You have to identify CA, 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 CB, 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 CA, CB. It's a very, very lengthy question. Let's leave that. Then there was another analogy question. Fruits. 3 women or 5 women? Okay, 3 women were there. Okay, 3 women, not 5 women. That doesn't matter. The answer I remember is correct because I solved it. So I wrote the answer. 5040 is the correct answer. No, 5040. Yeah, option A, Nikhil, that is correct. Next, moving on, we had apples, mango, fruits. Then we had Z crop, not late crop. Z crop, this is cucumber and pumpkin. Okay, cucumber, pumpkin and watermelon. So I believe this answer should be watermelon. Okay, let's move on. There's one question on coding and air conditioners. Anybody? Conditioner, air conditioner. But I didn't have the answers for this. Let's move on. Okay, the next one is odd one out. We had 164, 729. Then we had 1000, not 2000, and 4096. The odd one out will be 1000 here, because every other number can be written as a power of 6. 1 power 6 is 1, 2 power 6 is 64, 3 power 6 is 729, 4 power 6 is 4096. So everything can be written as a power of 6, only 1000 cannot be written as a power of a natural number. Therefore 1000 is your correct answer. Not 729. 729 can be written as power of 3. Right? 3 power 6 is 729. Then there is one more question on clocks. 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. something related to that. The answer is 180 degrees. The answer is 180 degrees. 1/3 of the total angle. Yes, I think that is 180 degrees. Next, there was a P&L on 2 shops. I don't remember the option, so let's move on to the next. Yeah, so the next one was a question on a question from permutation and combination. The question basically said, how many numbers greater than 10 lakhs can be formed using these digits? Using these digits. So they have given us 7 digits and we are supposed to look at how many 7-digit numbers can be formed which are greater than 10 lakhs. Yes, the correct answer is 360 for this. The correct answer is 360. You can form 360 7-digit numbers using these digits which are greater than 10 lakhs. Okay? Right. Okay, I see that many of you are getting the correct answer. Next is another permutation and combination. This time they've given a lot of PNC questions. A question which basically said 17 biology books, 15 mathematics books are there, and you're supposed to arrange them such that no 2 math books are together. No 2 math books are together. Which means you have to first place the 17 biology books and in the gaps you have to keep your math books. So if you go by that logic, you will be getting a total of 816. 816 as your answer. Okay? Yeah, the P&L question, yes, by the way, I forgot to give the answer. The P&L answer. Alright guys, so back, there was a glitch from our end. Yes, am I audible now? Quickly guys. Okay. Right, so we are in this particular question. We are talking about the logarithms log a plus log b. Yes, log a plus log b, and they are basically saying that a and b is a ordered pair. Okay, so we have in this particular question we had 4 options where you are supposed to look at which of these 4 straight lines the ordered pair is going to satisfy, and I believe the answer was none of them. None of them. So one of the options was none of these, and then there were 3 other options. You will be getting 20 and 5, A as 20 and B as 5, and this order of 20 and 5 will not satisfy any of them. Therefore you will be getting the answer as none of these. Okay, then you have a question on trigonometry. Tan A and tan B satisfy x square minus mx plus n equal to 0, and they are asking you to find sine square of a plus b. So basically what you have to do is, if you remember, 1 plus cot square theta is cosecant square theta, which means 1 plus 1 by tan square is equal to 1 by sine square. Now this sine square is what they are asking, and you are supposed to use this tan. So how do we use this? So here we have tan A and tan B. Yeah, So here we have tan A and tan B. So if this is root 1 and this is root 2, sum of the roots is tan A plus tan B is equal to minus B by A, which is m. And tan A into tan B is equal to product of the roots, which is n. Now what is tan of A plus B? Tan of A plus B is tan A plus tan B by 1 minus tan A tan B, correct? So according to this, we will be getting tan of A plus B as m by 1 minus n. So this is what we have in the denominator here. So the square of this becomes m square by 1 minus n the whole square. And then you're supposed to add 1 to it. So 1 plus m square by 1 minus n the whole square is equal to 1 by sine square of A plus B. This is what you want. So just simplify this. So this becomes 1 plus n square minus 2n plus m square by 1 minus n the whole square is equal to 1 by sine square of A plus B. And then you rearrange this. So this becomes 1 minus n the whole square by n square plus m square minus 2n plus 1 is equal to sine square of A plus B. So you'll have an answer like this, and the options, whichever options fits this, you can probably rearrange the terms a little bit to get your final answer, and that's basically how you solve. But the basic idea is you have to use 1 plus cot square theta is cosecant square theta. Okay? Yeah, there will be an m square in the denominator, yes. Anyway, moving on. Then there's an easy question based on ratios. Basically, they said that the income of 3 people, A, B and D, is in the ratio 4, 6, 5. And their spendings are in the ratio 4, 6 and 7. They're asking you the savings. So they changed the order DBA. The order has been changed. They changed the order DBA and they're asking you what is this ratio of their savings if A is saving half of the income. If A is saving half of the income, then the answer is supposed to be 3:6:4. Okay. So the answer is supposed to be 3:6:4. Yes, there are few questions coming on English also. I can answer few that have come up based on what I remember. Stylishly is the adverb. Yes, that is correct. Vertical and stylish. There is an option which had vertical and stylish in English. Vertical line. Line is a noun. Vertical describes the type of line. So that is an adjective. And stylish. Usage. So usage is the verb. Stylish is the way in which you're using it. So that's the adverb. So vertical is the adjective and stylish is the adverb. So that was the answer, I believe. 8 square is not 64, Ronak. That is correct. But you can also look at 64 as 2 power 6. All of them were powers of 6. Everything except 1000 can be expressed as powers of 6. That is the logic there. Okay. So the answer to this is 3:6:4. No, Sanskar, it is 3:6:4. I'm pretty sure about that. Then we have a question on probability, which basically said, what is the probability of getting at least 3 kings when you draw 7 cards out of 52 cards? So you want at least greater than or equal to 3 kings, which means you're looking at 3 kings and 4 non-kings, total 7, and 4 kings, 3 non-kings, total equal to 7. So these are the 2 cases that you need to find the probability and get your answer. So this is a bit calculation intensive. Ideally, you should have left this question. It is not 463. Guys, it is not 463. Remember, they changed this DBA. So 463 is if it is ABD. If it is DBA, it is 364. The order was changed. You have to be very careful about what they asked. So the values 4, 6 and 3 are individually correct, but which order are they asking? They are asking you the order of DBA, not ABD. Okay. Ruvan, B at loggerhead is correct. Walk on eggshells is not correct. Bite the bullet is also not correct. Okay. B at loggerheads is correct. Anyway, moving on. So in this is basically calculation intensive. So a student should have left this, but let's go ahead and take a look at how to solve this. So if you're looking at 3 kings and 4 cards which are not kings, then you're basically looking at the number of ways of doing it. It is 4c3, any 3 kings out of 4, and the remaining 4 cards out of the 48 cards. Remaining totally there are 52, out of which kings you are keeping separately. So non-king cards are 48. In this 48 you need 4, right? Divided by, now probability is 52c7, or again, okay, I have moved on by mistake, or again divide by 52c7, and numerator will be 4c4 into 48c3 this time. This, if you simplify, whatever will be the answer, the answers were very cumbersome, denominators were all prime numbers and all, so you have to divide this to get your final answer. Okay. Sanskar, yes, trick question. I hope you understood. Moving on. So what is the answer here? I believe this answer. So here we are talking about, the answer was 23 if I am not mistaken. Yeah, so if it is 23, so you will observe what is happening. 1 minus 4 minus 13 minus 26. This is one series. Look at the difference. The difference is 5. Here the difference is 7. Sorry, 9. Sorry, difference is 9, and then the difference is 13. Once again, if you take the difference, it is 4 and 4. Right? 5, 9, 13. The difference is 4 and 4. So now, if you look at these numbers, 5 and 12, 7, 7 and 23. 7 and 23 is 15, or 15? No, 16. And then 23 and 38 is 15. I think this should be 21 then. Let me just recheck. So this is 14 and 21, 17. No, just a minute. So this should be 11. The difference should be 11 here. So 12 plus 11 is 23. So 23 to 38, the difference is 15. Yes. So now if you notice, again the difference is 4, and the difference is again 4. Okay. So the correct answer there in that case should be 23. So you're basically looking at difference of difference being equal. So here the difference of difference is 4, 4 and 4 everywhere. Alright. Then we have the next question was a DI question, line graph. The answer to that line graph question is 1995 and 1996. So that which 2 years the totals were the same? I believe that was the question. Total exports were the same. It's a simple case of adding and comparing. You can observe and you can say that 1995 and 1996 the totals were same. Okay. Then you had a question on geometry. Basically there was a pole like this. This was size A meters, B meters, and this was M meters. The question asked was, what is this height h? So the answer to this h height will be AB by A plus B. AB by A plus B. It is independent of M. It is not dependent on M. It is independent of M. It is AB by A plus B. Okay. Then we have a question from averages. The question basically said that there were 512 pages and average there were 3 mistakes per page. Now the question says in the first 204 pages there were a total of 156 mistakes. So the question is, what is the average for the rest of the pages? So the answer will be 4 point something, and it was not there in the option. So the answer is none of the above. None of the above was a part of the option. That is your answer. Because in the initial 204 pages you have less mistakes, 156 mistakes, and the remaining pages the mistakes have to be higher. So that calculation that when you do, you'll get 4 point something. That option was not there. Therefore the answer is none. Okay. Yes, Kamath, it is AB by A plus B. That is correct. The next question was, there is a annual increase in a particular village or something like that, I believe. Today's height, oh not village, it is a tree that grew. Today's height was 216 centimeters. Annual increase is 1/6. 3 years from now, what will be the height? It's a very simple ratio problem. 216 into 7 by 6 into 7 by 6 into 7 by 6. So 216 into 7 by 6 into 7 by 6 into 7 by 6 gives you 343. Straightforward, that is the answer. Okay. Then you had a question which spoke about small mirrors, large mirrors. What is the number of small mirrors given? So the answer for the number of small mirrors was 1200. You could have solved it or you could have substituted and got the answer. Either way, your answer was 1200. Now the next question was the number of the value of k for which these two have no solution and they have infinite solution. So just take a look at it. So you have kx plus y equal to k square and x plus ky equal to 1. So when you have k equal to 1, what will happen? This becomes x plus y equal to 1, x plus y equal to 1. So you will have infinite solution. So this is actually inverse. So this is plus 1 and this is supposed to be minus 1. Okay. So when you have k equal to 1, you will get both to be same. So there are infinite solutions. And when you have k equal to minus 1, take a look at what happens. You will have minus x plus y equal to 1 and x minus y equal to 1. So basically you will have no solution here because both statements, these both lines are parallel to each other. What are these? One is x minus y equal to 1. This can be written as x minus y equal to minus 1. So they are both parallel lines. Parallel lines means they don't meet. If they don't meet, it means there is no solution. So the correct answer is minus 1 and 1. Minus 1 and 1. Okay. Then you have a line graph. Once again, so there were two DI questions. They came separately, but it was the same graph. And that answer was 93.33%. You are asking about y and z. What percentage of z is y? So 560 was the total value of y, 600 was the total value of z. The percentage is 93.33. Okay. Then there was a full ticket, half ticket question. This is actually quite simple because they asked you the value of F and R, full ticket fare and the reservation charge. The answer is 630 plus 18 and you don't have to solve anything. Why don't you have to solve anything? Because this is the only option which was fitting your F plus R equal to 648. They anyway gave in the exam that F plus R, full ticket plus reservation charge, is 648. Which means there's only one option which is fitting. You don't have to solve anything. Within 5 seconds your answer is done if you look at the options. And this is what I meant. Solving questions will take time, but if you look at the options, they will become easy for you. Okay. Then you had a question on numbers. Again, if you try to solve this, this will become very, very difficult. However, if you go by the options and see the smallest value of the option, if it fits all of them, you divide by 16 the smallest option and see whether the remainder is 12. Then divide by 24 and see whether the remainder is 20. Divide by 25 and see whether the remainder is 21. Divide by 30 and see whether the remainder is 26. The smallest option which is working for all these four, that's your answer. You don't try to solve this theory. If you try to solve it theoretically, it will take a long time. It's crazy. The best way to look at it is go with the options. Take the smallest option, start dividing by each number and see is it fitting or not. Very simple. It's easy to divide by 30, it's easy to divide by 25, it's easy to divide by 16 also probably. So you can divide and then see whether it's matching or not. One thing it is not matching, leave it, move to the next smallest option. So that is the way in which you can solve this. Okay. Right, so that is the list of questions that I have. Let's go ahead and take a look at the cutoffs. Okay, so the most important cutoffs right now. So what we expect this year for 97 percentile and 98 percentile, we are predicting somewhere between 40 to 41. In fact, I would say 40 to 40.5, and I would say 40.5 to 41.5 will be your will be your 98 percentile. So this is for your SIBM Pune, and this is going to be your SEM HRD. So these are our predicted values for your SIBM Pune and SCM HRD. So I hope you guys are aware. 40 to 40.5 and 40.5 to 41.5. This is our range that we are looking at for 97 and 98 percentile. Okay. Yes, I think 1196 was the correct answer there. Yes, correct. Okay. Now snap scores. Last year what happened? You can try to see what is happening. Last year the paper was quite difficult relative to this year. The scores were very low. This year we expect the scores to go higher compared to the last year's paper, because this year we saw that the questions were attemptable. Last year it was very lengthy, crazily lengthy. So the cutoffs fell drastically. This year, however, the cutoffs, we expect them to go higher. The percentiles will remain the same. The score will go higher. Therefore, we expect the cutoffs to touch 40s, 40, 41. That's where the cutoffs are going to be. Okay. So these are the percentiles, guys, college-wise. So you're looking at 98.5 for your SIBM Pune, 98 plus for your SAM HRDs, 97.5 also you might get a call, but 98 is a safe side. Then you have SIIB Pune 93 to 95, SIBM Bangalore, which is gaining momentum, 91 to 92. Then you have SIOM Nashik 85 to 87, and then you have the rest of the colleges. Some of you are asking what kind of percentile do I need for SIBM Bangalore, SIBM Hyderabad, and so on and so forth. Please take a look at this chart, take a screenshot of this chart. We have given you all the required percentiles that you need to expect for this particular college that you are seeking. Okay, so you have Hyderabad, SIBM Hyderabad, probably around 60 percentile. You'll be getting SIBM Hyderabad. 90 percentile. SCM HRD or SIBM Bangalore. Obviously, I would always say SCM HRD. Guys, SIBM Pune and SCM HRD. If these two are close to each other in terms of ranking, then there's a big gap before you get your next SIBM Pune. SIIB Pune, sorry. Okay, so these two are way above the rest of the groups. You can see the difference, right? From 95 percentile, the next is only 98. So these two, SIBM Pune and SIBM HRD, are in the top. And there's a big gap. And then the rest of the colleges come in. So please keep that in mind. So what is next in store for you? Guys, we are going to come up with ZAT preparation. The crash course has already been launched. The videos have already been taken. There are a lot of videos a lot of sessions that we are taking for you on your YouTube channel. So if you are not subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe to our channel and click on the bell notification icon, because we are going to have a ton of videos coming your way. And of course, we are going to start with the GDPI preparation for all the students who are getting calls. BYJU'S students, our own students who are there with us for the classroom, that is the online program. Well, the entire GDPI program is free of cost. If you are not a BYJU'S student, then you can enroll into our BYJU'S GDPI program. We have special one-on-one mentorships where we will assign a mentor to you, and this mentor will be you will be the mentor's responsibility to make sure that all your answers are vetted and verified when you go to the interview. There will be multiple interviews and practice given to you. So if you are thinking about a mentorship, we are not talking about just training you for an interview. We are talking about the entire mentorship, which will include what answers you're going to write in the form that you're going to fill, how these answers are going to affect your interview questions. Therefore, how should your interview practice begin or take shape? So that is what our mentor will do. We will make sure that all facets of your life are covered before you go to the actual interview. So that's our promise to you. And of course, then we have our test series. If you guys are going ahead for other exams, we have a lot of exams coming up in the month of February, March, April. So if you're looking at those, we have a special course for you where we're going to sell only the test series for you guys. You can go ahead and take enrollments in these series. Alright, so guys, that's all from my end. Please go ahead and enroll if you are interested in any of these programs. I hope I've been able to solve majority of the questions. Unfortunately, English questions I didn't have with me, but I hope the rest of the questions have been answered to the best of my knowledge. Thank you, my friends. All the very best, and see you in the next analysis.